G'day everyone. Wanted to talk to you about an amazing Canon announcement. I mean, as you know, I'm a Sony shooter, and occasionally I have bagged Canon when they've done the wrong thing. But when they do the right thing, like I think what they have with the new Canon 1DX Mark III, I think they need some credit. And let's look at basically what's just been announced, because it's unbelievable in a lot of ways too. I think they've really outshone the Sony A9 in a heap of ways. So this camera is going to be an amazing release, probably for the Olympics. But let's have a look at it. They're saying that the Canon 1DX Mark III is a hybrid with AF Deep Learning, new Digic processor, 4K 60 frames per second, CF Express, 20 frames per second still shooting. And they're saying down here that Canon has officially announced the new flagship camera. It's going to have this new Digic processor, AF Deep Fusion, and it's going to have 4K 60 frames per second video, 20 frames per second still shooting. It's going to have CF Express storage, hybrid mirrorless qualities as well. And looking at what this camera is, it really is an amazing mix of digital SLR cameras and mirrorless cameras in the one. Now, I believe when you're focusing, this is the first time you've been able to do this, really, you're going to be able to seamlessly move from the optical viewfinder to the monitor at the back with focusing to keep going and focus both ways, and that will be amazing. So it's like I'm saying, it's like you're using a digital SLR and mirrorless at the same time, which is going to be like a game changer if you're thinking about this. It's also got this amazing AI technology. Olympus has a similar thing, and I'll bring up this document again in a minute. Olympus has a similar thing where it would be able to track cars and planes and things like that. This is going to take it a step further, where it's going to learn as it's tracking the object that you're looking at, which sounds incredible when you're looking at it. They're saying basically that it's proclaimed as the ultimate camera for sports and wildlife users, and a new era of AS speed and accuracy. The 1DX Mark III's headline feature is undoubtedly the autofocus performance. It's 28 times more resolution in the autofocus than the Mark II. And what they're saying is it gives it basically 10 million pixels of resolution, and combined with this bleeding edge AF Deep Learning algorithm, it promises truly ferocious performance. Now, I'll put this document down below so you can have a look at it. But it says here, this is an autofocus we haven't seen before, and we're told by David Parry that this is something very new and very different. We've seen this AF detection in Olympus OM cameras before, which could recognize things like the cars and aircraft, but the AF system, this AF system actually learns as you shoot, which is the AI aspect of this. It's got a new Digic processor, probably the Digic A9, and this is the incredible part, that they're saying this processor gives it the power to do 4K 60 frames per second at 10-bit Canon log, and it's internal RAW recording. So it's got 4K 60, 10-bit internal RAW, and it's Canon log as well. Now, yes, it's probably going to have the same crop as before, a 1.4, but boy, that certainly beats anything that Sony have got at this stage, particularly in the full frame realm. They're also getting rid of the Canon Jpeg. Now they're going to go to the same as the iPhone, which is this HEIF format. It's a great compressed format. Obviously, like I've said, I've been using that with my iPhone as well, and it's wonderful. What else has this camera got? It's got the CF Express memory. Now that probably will be needed to get off the video footage, that 4K 60 frames. Also, it's got a much bigger buffer, and I'll talk about this when we go through the specifications a little bit later. It's got a much better buffer than what the previous camera had. The previous camera would have unlimited JPEG, and I'd say this will be the same for that HEIF format, but obviously you need those cards to get off that video format. That raw footage will be massive. It says there, when pushing around the internal RAW 4K 10-bit video and ridiculous bursts of images, the blistering continuous shooting speed exploits the strengths of both mirrorless and digital SLR shooting capabilities. Now, it's saying here that it does do 20 frames per second with AF and AE when shooting in the live view mode. If you're using the live view mode in the camera, it will do 20 frames per second, mechanical and electronic. If you're using the EVF, and it says that in here that if you use the EVF, it will be no blackout, and you'll get 16 frames per second. So you lose a fraction if you want to use it through that high-end DVF without the blackout. So let's look at the specifications. What's in this? It's going to have a new sensor, a new digic processor. Now we don't know what megapixels this will be yet. It's probably going to be around that 20 upwards, somewhere around that area. It's got the new AF algorithm with the deep learning, new AF sensor, 28 times more resolution for that AF sensor than previous. Focus coverage, focus over a greater EV range. Live view and movie AF with the same algorithm as with the optical viewfinder system. Dual pixel CMOS AF, 90 to 100% coverage. 525 selectable AF areas, AF point selection control as well. It'll have illuminated buttons, which is fantastic if you're shooting at nights with sports and things like that. Dramatically improved battery life, and because of this new sensor, it will obviously have better ISO performance. It's going to have 10-bit HEIF files, 4K 60p, 10-bit Canon log, and internal RAW recording because of this CF Express. Optical viewfinder continuous shooting is 16 frames per second, AF and AE. Live view continuous is 20 frames per second with AF and AE with mechanical or electronic shutter. CF Express storage, 5 times raw burst depth versus the 1DX Mark II. Built-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, built-in Ethernet speed 2 times faster than the 1DX Mark II. New optional wireless transmitter and weather sealing magnesium body. It really does look fantastic. Like I said, I know we've only got the announcement at this stage, but boy, these announcements certainly make the A9 II look a little bit ordinary if you're talking about the video performance particularly, and we don't know about the AI as well, how well that will work. We still don't know how well the electronic frames per second will be. The A9 is amazing due to the stacked sensor that's in that. So we don't know whether there will be any rolling shutter with this camera. But, you know, you're dealing with 16 frames per second mechanical. And they're also saying you get the 16 frames mechanical as well if you're using the back optical viewfinder. So it really is amazing. Let me know what you think about this. I think Canon really have, you know, knocked the ball out of the park, basically, looking at what they're saying here. This will be released for the Olympics, and I think looking at it, boy, it will be the camera to get. It's probably going to be the best hybrid camera that's ever been produced. Let me know what you think down below. I'll see you all soon for the next video. Bye, guys.